This is insane, by the way. Chat, like, in case you didn't know, what this means is that for the first 10 days of each patch, you get 16% more artifacts if you decide to farm them through here instead of artifact domains. Before we started, I want to talk about the new abyss being mainly co-op. It's not mainly co-op. You can only co-op the first 3 difficulties, and the first 3 difficulties are trivial. It's the equivalent of if you could co-op floors 9 and 10 of Abyss. You can go up all... What? That's not what I saw. Is that true? Is that real? You can go up 3 to 5 but without matchmaking? Oh, really? Look, HomDG Cat. I will. You... Oh! Wait, co-op boss HP becomes 150% of the original HP regardless of the number of players? Chat. That means you probably should co-op. Oh my god. Wait. That's crazy. Like, even if you're not with whales, it'll be more like, it'll be easier to clear in co-op than in single player. 150% is nothing. Regardless of the number of players is crazy. Like, right now, where do I find info on it? I know it used to be on Honey, but I haven't used Honey in a long-ass time. Co-op Genshin wiki. It might be on... It's probably on the wiki, right? Co-op scaling. Yeah. Right? So right now, if you go in co-op, enemies have 150% of their HP if you're 2 players. But if you're 3 players, it's 200, and if you're 4 players, it's 250. Right? So each additional player increases the enemy's HP by 50%. But apparently, this is 150% regardless of the number of players, which means it's still 150 at 4 players. That's crazy. Like, that's actually good. Also, yeah, oh, it doesn't say the HP for levels below 5. This is, like, actually reasonable, by the way. Like, this is not whale territory. This is not reasonable, though. I'll tell you that much. Same HP, but on this enemy is fucked. It's completely cooked, man. It is for Ayaka mains. I don't know, man. I don't even know if Ayaka mains are going to be able to do this without a problem. Because this enemy's mechanics gets kind of cooked. Like, it gets its res up, and you have to hit it so many times with cryo to get it back down. So you gotta fucking charge attacks with your ult available on Ayaka for like 20 seconds. Just to get its resistances back down. So it's impossible without cryo. It'll be possible, but you'll have to go... You'll have to use an Atlan character. And it'll be a lot harder. But also, switch to attacking with exceedingly powerful tracking rays. That sounds like you get one shot. So it's probably going to be mechanically much more difficult with Natlan characters than with cryo characters. Want to cook up a new co-op tier list? I mean, I think that'll be a good idea. Yeah, I think that's gonna happen. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that the S tier will be Escoffier, Neuvillette. Does Farina make it? Probably, yeah. This specific lineup is a little cringe for me. Because, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because I want to use channeling on both of these. I guess I'd probably just give up on channeling here and use Maoika for Verissa. And use Arlecchino channeling here. Right? Or maybe... Right, because this is going to be... Because I'm going to get Skirk. This is going to be Skirk, Escoffier, Farina, Yelan. Right? Or maybe not Yelan, but like the last slot, it doesn't matter what it is. But like, Skirk, Escoffier, Farina is definitely happening for this. Right? Isn't Kanich good on the second boss? Kanich has a good matchup, but... I don't know if he's strong enough. And my Kanich build is a little underwhelming as well. So... I would much rather do Arlecchino if I can. Because, one, this is actually long fight content. So it's great for Arlecchino. And two, my Arlecchino build is the best build on my account. Actually, is my Arlecchino build better than my Clone build? Well, in practice, it is still my Arlecchino build because I have Jade Wing Spear versus fucking Lion's Roar, right? But just in terms of artifacts, no, my Arlecchino build is better, yeah. So like I'd probably do this, and ideally I want to use Channeling, but I don't have to. I could also do like Kazuha Emilie. That's probably gonna work as well, and that lets me use Channeling against Tulpa, which is probably worth it, right? And do something like this. Does that mean my best 3 teams will not use Maoika? Oh my god. It does. It does. Oh my. That's crazy. They also won't use Shilonen. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's crazy. Is burning a must for the second boss? No, but burning is helpful. You mentioned Kazuha, so I'm happy. Yeah, Kazuha's pretty good at this because he breaks the shield pretty quickly. Or it's not a shield, but he fills the bar pretty quickly. The bar on the Lava Dragon is like a little weird because it's a mix of void shields and elemental shields, right? It ticks a little bit on each pyro hit, but it additionally ticks a little bit more on pyro application. So each pyro application, or each pyro hit that is also an application, is a little bit more effective than a pyro hit that is not an application. That means stuff with no ICD is going to be better at breaking these things. And that's part of why I wish I could use Shangling, but it is what it is. But even the stuff that doesn't apply pyro can still be useful, especially if it hits really quickly, which is why burning is good too. Can you brute force the second boss with Navidad? No. Don't use Hydro or Cryo on this boss. You're actually griefing yourself. Use Maoika with Marissa, but that's a downgrade against Tulpa. Against every other enemy in the game, Maoika is better than Channeling in this spot. Against Tulpa specifically, Channeling's the best character in the game. I need to go test if Mulaney works. Mulaney half works. I've tested it before. It wasn't the Abyss version. The Abyss version might be different, so maybe. But I tested Mulaney and it was okay, but it's Mulaney, so fuck that. Can Navidad brute force the automaton without Skirk? I don't know. I'm not sure how exactly the Abyss and whatever this mode is called, Tumult Subduer version of the automaton differs from the overworld one. The overworld one isn't too bad when it comes to like breaking the shield with 2 crowd characters if one of them is a catalyst. You kind of look like Ryan Gosling. My god. That's the most paid chatter I have ever fucking seen, but thank you. Holy shit. Let me reduce my damage a little so I don't kill it too fast. We'll just keep the cryo thingy on. But like right now, he's not even fucking starting his thing. Right? I know that in Abyss he starts with the thing. Right? There it is. Right? In Abyss, he starts with this. And right now he has really high resistances, and we gotta like hit him for a decent amount for his resistances to go down. Right, now they're down. I guess that's not too bad with an on-field catalyst. So it's probably doable. And then you can keep this up just from the off-field from Seatbally. You can keep his resistances down because you keep his bar low. Okay. So as long as the mechanic itself isn't like completely different, you should be fine with these two. Just Escoffier by herself probably isn't enough, though. Which, now that I think about it, might be a problem for some Skirk teams, huh? Because Skirk doesn't apply cryo outside of her uptime. So if you do a double Hydro Skirk team, once it starts shielding up, you have to waste like half your uptime to get the shield down, don't you? Is it cryo hits or cryo app? I'm pretty sure it's cryo hits. I don't think app matters here. But I guess we can take a look, see if each hit is reducing it by the same amount, or if every other hit is doing more. Shenhe burst coming in clutch. True! So, it looks like each hit is the same amount. It doesn't look like the application matters. It looks like it's just the amount of hits. And it definitely looks like Escoffier by herself isn't even enough to break even. He gains more bar than he loses. My god. That means you definitely need 2 cryos. But it was fine when we did Escoffier plus Sitlali. So you can probably do it with Nebula. Since Escoffier plus Sitlali is enough. Couldn't you just do Nightsoul and hope not to die? Oh yeah, I guess that Sitlali is Nightsoul. And with Neuvillette, you get to move, so you might be able to not die. So that might be fine. I'm really worried doing Sitlali with any carry other than Neuvillette though. I feel like you're just gonna die. Chat, does anyone know how Electro MC works in co-op? If the burst goes to everyone, or if it's just on one person? What happens when you fail the mechanic? Nothing happens from failing the mechanic. It's just, while his bar is above a certain threshold, which is like, I think 15% or something, his resistances are 380% to every element and physical. So, yeah. That's certainly gonna be something. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If I activate Night Soul but also hit it with Cryo, does it stay to 50 or go to minus? I don't know, because I don't think that the Night Soul mechanic exists on the overworld version, so I don't think I can test it until it comes in Abyss, right? Because I was in Night Soul and it wasn't doing anything. Oh, also, chat. This is insane. By the way. This is fucking insane. Chat, like, in case you didn't know, what this means is that for the first 10 days of each patch, you get 16% more artifacts if you decide to farm them through here instead of artifact domains. This is insane. It's effectively 10 days of Leyline Overflow every patch. Because if you're smart about things, does this reset once a patch? I mean, I'm assuming it does. The way they did it in Star Rail is once they added the 3rd endgame mode, they made it so that each mode resets every 2 weeks, and the patch cycles are 6 weeks. Like, one mode reset every 2 weeks. So I'm assuming that that's what they're going to do for this. They're going to make IT reset every patch, and Abyss reset every patch. How is it 16%? Every 6 you get 1 more. Technically, it's a little bit less than that, because it's not every 6, it's every 120 resin, and 120 resin isn't actually 6, it's like 6.2 on average, because of the chance that you get a double drop. But, like, same shit, dude. Yeah, same shit. You know what I mean, man. Anyways, if you're smart about this, you will make it so that you get your transient resin from the last week of the patch, and you don't use it. So you start with 2 transient resins, and then you get a 3rd one from the next week, right? And then resin is what, every 8 minutes? You get 180 resin a day. So 1800 resin in 10 days, plus 180 from 3 transient resins. And this is going to be where you use your fragile resin, by the way. Starting now that we know this is a thing, you should not use fragile resin unless, at least on artifact domains, unless it is during this. And on average, how many fragile do you get every patch? For now, let's look at non-battle pass buyers. You get, is it 5? I'll believe you guys. Everyone's saying 5. Sure. Right? So you get a total of about 19 more artifacts every patch. Which is like almost a week's worth of Leyline Overflow. Also, you get to spend your resin doing actual content instead of domains. This is probably the best system change they've ever had. By the way. Like, this is insane. It's not a major change. At the end of the day, this is only the equivalent of 16% more resin. once a patch. Or or for a third of the patch, right? So it's like 5% more efficiency in your farming, basically. Which is not a lot. But it's gonna feel good. This is a sort of change where, like, it makes a lot of sense to have this associated with an endgame mode. Because it's small enough that if you are missing out on it, you don't completely fall behind. But it actually provides an incentive to complete this content, which is great. It says 10-day every phase, not every patch. Yes, but they don't define what a phase is. And a phase is likely going to be every time this lineup resets. And I'm assuming that once they introduce this, we'll have 3 endgame modes. And they'll adopt the same system as Star Rail, where every 2 weeks one of the modes resets, so it ends up resetting every 6 weeks, which is once a patch. If it's twice a patch, it's even better. But, oh well. What's more difficult, new mode or Abyss? This looks like this mode is a lot more difficult than Abyss. But part of that is this. Like, this boss is completely fucked. Like, these two look so much easier than this one. Like, I am going to get Skirk. I know for a fact that this amount of HP I can deal with, and I am fully expecting to struggle with this one, even with a built Skirk on her premium team. Who can you use with Skirk if you don't have Yolana or Shenhe? You have a lot of options. Sitlali, Mwalani, Singto, Mona, Dahlia, Mika, Lila, Rosaria. The ones that I would consider, like, actually very, very competitive with Yolana and Shenhe are Sitlali, Mwalani, Mona, and I'm not sure about Dahlia anymore. Because attack speed stuff is, yeah. New mode can be fully co-op, try it. What's the best co-op lineup? Like using 3 on fielders and 1 off, or 2 on, 2 off, assuming 4 players. It kind of depends. Ideally, you want to use characters that provide team-wide buffs for your buffers, not just buffs to one character. And you want to provide buffers that also do damage and benefit from being on field. But it's not the end of the world if they don't benefit from being on field. The biggest problem is that buffs are really, really powerful. And so a lot of the time, like, let's say you're looking at cryo teams, for example, right? Even though Escaffier doesn't really benefit from being on field, you should still use Escaffier because she's broken, right? And even though Farina doesn't benefit from being on field, in co-op, you will have permanent, fully maxed out fanfare, because it's a lot easier to heal your whole party in co-op, so you stack fanfare faster. And, she catches all the fucking particles, so her ER requirements are nothing. And so she actually does get benefits from being on field, right? You get to go Maréchal too, which is Pog. Same for Escoffier. And then for the rest, I'm not sure. I think Neuvillette will be pretty solid in a team like this, right? Because you get to do asynchronous full uptime Neuvillette, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly how his stuff lines up if you get full, like, completely full uptime. I'm kind of curious. I should check. Like, I know you end up running out of balls at some point, but it takes a while, right? Sackjade is cooked in co-op, just don't do Sackjade, lol. Let me get a bunch of VR so I can check this without having to think. I don't have an ER sense. probably wait a little. Actually, you probably didn't need to wait, now that I think about it. Normal attack Nivette? No, you're probably better off just doing a manually charged shot. I just don't know if there's ever gonna be a moment when you have time to do a full charge into the charge shot, into the charge attack, before your equal down comes back up. Maybe at some point. Let's try this. I guess here you'd have time to do a full charge shot. And you only get one. So it's... You need to refresh buffs. We're talking about co-op. We're talking about the new mode, which is co-op and fucking 8 million HP. So, no, the boss isn't dead, and no, you don't have to go refresh buffs. Also, no energy. That's also going to be fixed by co-op. So, what was that? I did EQ, 3CA, E, CA, Q, 2CA, E, CA, and then CA, right? That's what I did, right? So I did E, Q, 3CA, E, CA, Q, 2CA, E, CA, and then manual CA. And then the E cooldown comes back. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In like 38-ish seconds. So you get a little bit more than one charge attack every 5 seconds. One every like 4.5-ish seconds-ish. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. You start with 0. But that's fine. That just means that on the first rotation you do an ECA into a manual CA. And after that you can do your ECA start. But that's no problem. It effectively just means that you start here instead of here, right? But it's still the same rotation. It just starts on this part. Anyways, this is 8 CAs in 38 seconds. I mean, it could be 36, right? It's probably closer to 38, though.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is
by default, right now, you do 4 CAs every, like, 26 seconds in the freeze teams. So he gets about a third more charge attacks in total from being in co-op. So he actually does benefit a decent amount from the extra field time in co-op. That's cool. That's cool. What's the idea behind Molani for Skirk? Cinder City's kind of fucking broken, and Molani has pretty reasonable damage for her field time if you do EN1Q. Also, her ER requirements are pretty low, and she can use TTDS. And unlike most other TTDS wearers, her damage is good on TTDS. TTDS is an HP catalyst. It gives 35.9% HP, which is almost as much as you get from Proto Amber. It's like 6% less. Like, TTDS is an okay free-to-play damage weapon on Molani. Hydro into Frozen Aura doesn't count a triggering reaction. You're right. But Hydro into underlying Cryo Aura under a Freeze Aura does count as triggering a reaction. It works the same way as Dendro with Fischl A4, where triggering spread doesn't work, but triggering quicken does. Is it reliable? From what I've seen, if you do Farina EQ into Escoffier EQ, it is reliable. Because Escoffier's Q is 2U cryo, so it's pretty easy to have the cryo, at least some cryo aura left over, for Molani to react. Alternatively, it's really difficult to have an underlying Hydro, which is what prevents Citlali from being above the other options. If you could reliably get a rotation that has Cinder City getting procced reliably on Citlali, and that gives TTDS to Skirk with Citlali, Citlali would be above the other options. The reason why I have her pretty similar to the other options is because you have to choose between the two. If you go to Escoffier before you go to Citlali, you're not getting Citlali to proc Cinder City. And if you go to Escoffier after, you're not giving Skirk TTDS. So for now, I've been assuming Fav Citlali instead. Wandering Evenstar angle? Yeah, Wandering Evenstar will also be good, but no one has it, so I don't like assuming the weapon banner only 4 stars. Do we need to kill the 8 mil HP boss to get the full rewards? The full rewards is 100 Mora. So, like, not really. Only the first 3 levels are necessary, and the first 3 levels you have 10 minutes. Isn't that a placeholder? Maybe it is a placeholder. Perhaps. But at least the Primo rewards you'll all be able to get pretty much no matter what. But that also means that you can get the extra resin rewards pretty much no matter what, right? It's just, if your teams are complete dog shit, it's gonna take you a while. But man, this is actually a massive deal. Because, like, if not for this, co-op is a little hard to justify. At least more than 2-player. 2-player co-op you can justify, but 3 and 4-player co-op is hard to justify. Because when you get one more on-fielder, it also means you're getting one less support, right? And so getting a second on-fielder doesn't mean twice the damage. It's twice the base damage, but one less buff. And as long as your buff was increasing your damage by 33% or higher, losing it cooks you, right? It means that you go down to, like, base, like, 75% of your DPS or lower, and double that isn't more than what you had, right? Or it isn't enough to keep up with the HP increase. But if it stays 150 for 3 and 4 players, that changes things. Because that allows for the possibility to also be on field on your supports to reduce a lot of their issues. But yeah, we'll definitely be doing some calcs on co-op teams. Implying anyone is ever going to do co-op outside of trying it once before they remember how bug Genshin's Z code is. I mean, I do think that some people are going to do this. Especially if you get, like, achievements or name cards or cosmetic rewards, whatever, from the stuff on 4 and 5. And that's how they should do it. If this is indeed a placeholder, or maybe you get an elixir or a crown or something like that. Player 1, Nevilette Escoffier, player 2, Skirk Farina. Yeah, that'll be pretty good, yeah.